Hello, beloveds, and happy full moon in Virgo. Full moon peaked last night, but still really feeling it clearly today. Curious if you're a Virgo sun or Virgo rising, how have you felt during this last week? How do you currently feel? Do you feel empowered by this time? Do you feel more clear, more concise? Or have you had incidents? Have you had injuries? Have you had places where it's making you question your own power? Either way, it's all welcome. And if you haven't already, please subscribe, like if you want to continue to receive this content, and if you appreciate the content that I do offer here. Someone I was speaking with this last week had the words come to them, get your house in order. And this is it reminds me of the Virgo energy of like order. It tends to be, it's an earth sign, so it can be something that if you have Virgo strong in your chart, you like order, you like a clean home, or you like things organized. And even though it may not look organized to the outside world, you still know where everything is. So there's like a process involved, and you know how to compartmentalize too. That's another part of it. But yeah, this get your house in order. I feel like this is a collective message of, okay, are you really listening to what is no longer working, what hasn't been working all along maybe, and can you kind of clean things up a little bit, trim around the edges. I think about bushes around the home and cleaning baseboards, things that you don't typically notice. Maybe it's that stair that has been squeaking for a long time, or it's the banister that is a little creaky and a little unstable. These are messages about looking at where we maybe don't fulfill our practices, our projects completely. And can be a time where we can assess those situations and see how we can manage our time better and be better stewards of our time and our energy and get our homes in order, both physically and internally. So enough about that. Let's pull some cards. Let's pull about the energy for this full moon. So I'm going to start off with a collective card with the Sacred Flames deck. Nature creates beauty to inspire mankind to relax to the greatness of their own divinity. Your physical body with all its faculties, it's meant to externalize the perfection of consciousness in the world of form. So I'm going to read this again because it's very wordy, but it has a lot of very deep meaning. Nature creates beauty to inspire mankind to return to the greatness of their own divinity. Your physical body, with all its faculties, is meant to externalize the perfection of consciousness in the world of form. Get your house in order. That comes back again. Let's keep going. This has some very strong energy to it. So we've got focus on the body and on beauty and of seeing the great divine in all of creation and becoming aware of ourselves as a part of that manifestation, externalization. And then I pulled from the deck of my Hawaiian deck. It says Abuela Medicine, Remedy of the Grandmothers. Okay, let's reference this oracle. Believe in the formidable power of healing, of the transformation it can provide for all aspects of your being and your life. Medicine comes from spirit in many forms to facilitate healing of body, mind, and soul. Whether it is the correction of unhelpful habits of thought, guidance for practical steps to resolve a physical imbalance, or deep soul healing that frees you into the fulfillment of your divine potential, there is no limit to what can be healed through grace. A current of divine healing is flowing to you and through you now. Open yourself to participate in a beautiful healing transformation. Virgo is well known for being a deeply healing sign. This says that you're on a healing journey and to put your trust in the genius of spirit and the medicine of the earth through which divine healing can express itself. As you allow your spiritual connection to guide your earthly steps with synchronicity and divine intervention, you will be supported through a healing journey that will be profound for you. So this is telling me that we are doing healing that is soul supported, soul healing, healing that allows us to awaken more, to become aware of our soul. And as we do that, it's something that for most of us, it happens incrementally, where we start to become conscious of the ego, of the personality, and its control dramas, its manipulations. And then we have these divine moments where something bigger than us participates in the world through us. So this seems to be a time where maybe there are some things occurring in your life. Maybe there could be surprise opportunities that may not appear as an opportunity. Some kind of situation, challenge, new beginning, ending, that is fostering a deeper connection with your soul and with the collective soul of humanity. As I'm saying that, I'm hearing seeding, that there is a seeding happening, which seems really appropriate as we're approaching the season where we will begin to plant for our spring and our summer crops, and even for the fall crops as well. So there's a seeding of humanity. And as I pull from the Archangel cards, it's getting so interesting. Pulled the Past Life card. This says, this situation has a basis in one of your previous lifetimes. Ask your angels to help you remember, release, learn, and heal from your past experiences. The other card here is to ask your angels. So if there is a particular situation that is present for you, that has come up or will come up, remember that there is a whole other realm that we cannot see, but is constantly trying to communicate with us and working with us, supporting us. We all have our own individual angels or guides, guardians, whatever you want to reference them as, these participating fractals of God, of spirit, of source, of your higher self. How do you move through challenge or conflict, or even through joy, through opportunity, How do you move through it in a way that allows your soul to open more, allows you to hear beyond just your circumstances and beyond the physical realm? Do you connect with these higher realms? Do you ask for wisdom? And see, this is starting to gain some momentum from where I'm sitting. This practice of learning to reach or contact or intend to receive information through something greater than the ego, the small mind, or through other people's opinions. Not that that can't be helpful, but ultimately the way that we come into alignment with our truth and learn to be guided by our soul, learn to listen to our soul, is first by making that contact, by asking the questions, by seeking higher guidance, knowing that everyone has the ability to use their intuition to know what is aligned. And I use the word aligned because I don't believe in the empowering the duality of right or wrong and good or bad, because that is something that is personification. So if this is a time of deep healing and restoration of the soul and being in contact with the truest part of yourself, with your authentic nature and with God, then you may experience some opportunities that don't always appear as opportunities to reach deep into yourself and start to ask for assistance beyond your mind. With the abuela medicine, I'm going to come back and reference this card too. With it being grandmother medicine, I have to wonder. It says that this term usually refers to the use of plants as spiritual aids in shamanic disciplines, such as those practiced by the indigenous peoples of the Amazon. Such medicines promote healing of the mind and body. However, the oracle speaks of a broader interpretation. It indicates a time when your earthly steps will be supported and guided by the Earth Mother for deep healing and powerful awakening. Heaven and earth are intersecting, and when that happens, the practice of physical world medicines can become a channel for blessings. This divine integration of heaven and earth will transform the way you see and experience the physical world. So this is referencing using the earth and all of the opportunities provided through plant medicines, through sunshine, through elemental exposure, grounding. Leaning on these is another way of strengthening that connection with God, strengthening the connection with your higher self and your intuition. And the past life card, this is intriguing. We're going to see where this goes. Okay, well, this is saying past lives, and when we refer to that, generally we think in the past, we think linear, although time is not. There are still patterns that stick with us through our many incarnations. But I'm actually getting a sense of not recreating a situation, yes, from the past. Let me ask another question here and just get a little bit more clarification. Vision quest. So this is encouraging. Wow. Very, very potent healing time. So we got the vision quest, and then we got soul retrieval. So maybe some part of you has been left behind from some trauma in the past. some part of your soul had fragmented from either misuse of will or some trauma, some suffering that stunted the liberation of the soul from the personality. So vision quest means that it's time to intentionally create space and time to understand, why are you here? Why are you in this place right now? Why are you having these experiences in your external reality? Why are you having these judgments? Why are you having these things happening in your body? What is that there to reflect to you? And is there some wisdom from an imprint of the past? And if you're not used to working in retrieving information of past lives, you can always find someone that does this kind of work or something similar. But you can also ask your angels. Ask that system of support to guide you, to help you understand, if I need to know where this comes from in order to heal it, please show me. And then you trust what you see. So often it can be difficult that we think our mind is making these things up. One of the ways that I always know is if there is a emotional response. If there's an emotional response, then it's hit some informational pattern within your mental emotional field. It's resonating, which is what we want to do, because if we can move the emotions behind it, then the imprint can release. It can be transmuted. So the soul retrieval, or the vision quest, let's do this first. You face your fear, you embrace your mortality, and then meet face to face with spirit. When we feel stagnant, a vision quest brings our lives into perspective. We realize our flaws, our potential, and our opportunities that life has offered us now. We remain on a vision quest until we find the key to open a new door or write a new chapter in our lives. Find clarity by spending time alone in nature. So it's repeated several times through various cards here, to get outside, to make contact with nature, to remember the joy of the simple things. This has been the message that has come to me through this Virgo full moon, is when I can stop and just appreciate the simple beauty of any moment, my heart opens. And that's the gateway of healing. Healing and harmony occur when the heart is open. And as we are outside in nature, we can't help but to do that. We actually are stimulated by the frequency of the earth, the Schumann resonance, as it informs the electromagnetic field of our heart, which informs the electromagnetic field of our brain, which, when incoherent, harmonizes, balances both hemispheres of the brain, and harmonizes all of the rhythms in the body. Homeostasis. Spirit has been trying to contact you, but it seems you may be too busy and there is much noise inside of your head. Do not miss the call. Make room for quiet time. Allow yourself to become bored, and you'll be able to hear the important messages trying to get through. Yeah, the last new moon referenced this stillness, the standstill. It said, hey, get away from this soundtrack that's always playing. Get away from this inundation of sound and input and stimulus. It actually doesn't take that much effort to do it, especially when you have the help of nature. When you are determined that you are going to set 15 minutes or an hour aside every day to just sit outside and observe, to listen. Maybe not even reading a book or anything like that, but to just be present and notice what's there. How can you get your house in order through just stepping back from all of the activity and the running around and the absorption? How can you really get clear on what needs to be reassessed, removed, cleaned, reorganized? This is the medicine for right now. This is what this full moon is. So that we can retrieve our soul. This practice helps you recover a part of yourself, your energy, your enthusiasm, or your innocence that you have lost. At first, we'll use soul retrieval to recover from our hurts and heal our childhood wounds. Later, we learn to journey to recover our original nature, that self that never left the Garden of Eden, who still speaks to the rivers, to the trees, and to God. When we return to Eden, we are whole again. The invitation is that you are no longer fragmented, that you are one with creation. You have healed the cause of the pain you feel. Have you? Don't be distracted with the little stuff. Go for that big one, the journey back to Eden, the sore spot. And the question is, when did you compromise what you truly believed in to be loved or accepted by someone? This is a deep one. And this, of course, is going to go back to childhood trauma. And as you observe maybe this pattern within yourself of compromising what you believe to be true, what you believe to be aligned for you, what you believe to be holy, asking yourself why. What motivated that choice? And you have to become very still to really hear and to be honest with ourselves. We don't like to look at our shadows, and we certainly don't like to admit our shadows. But it's the only way that you recover your soul. It's the only way that we recover our light. Is we have to bring the shadow into the light of consciousness. Our last card fear. It's a very, very powerful full moon. And if you're not feeling it yet, I'm willing to bet you will. And I would encourage you, find all of those places that you're fearful of. Notice what's been pulling on you. What causes you to worry? What causes you to become small and to compromise? We often compromise because it's out of a fear that we won't be loved, we won't be accepted, that something bad will happen to us. And as we are in the last couple of weeks before we emerge through spring, this is like that last little bit of effort to really allow our subconscious to be seen and to be healed. I realize that I am testing my resolve to live in the energy of love. Wherever you fear, go on a vision quest. Lean into it. Go towards it. I had this dream the other night that there were all sorts of dark, shadowy aspects in it, of having to flee from an enemy, of being destitute in a place where there were people looking for me that wanted to do me harm. And in this dream, I start going down this wooded road, and it was dark. It was dusk, and it started getting darker. And in the dream, I recognized that it was getting really dark to the point where I wasn't going to be able to see, and therefore I wouldn't know if I came up on something, and I could feel the fear in the dream. But then that higher part of me said, no, you have to keep moving forward through the fear. You have to keep engaging into the fear. And in the dream, what ended up happening is I emerged through an opening, and I won't bore you with all the details. Ultimately, the dream ended up with me being corralled and essentially sacrificed. And I didn't actually experience that part. I woke up before it, but all of the details of that led up to it. But I actually wasn't afraid in that moment, which was really interesting. I didn't want to be there, but I wasn't afraid the same way that I felt the fear rise as I was gazing into this dark path and couldn't see my hand in front of my face. So there's deep recovery and healing and refinement of one's intuition and willpower through engaging with your fears. And the truth is that you really can't escape these. You can only put them off for so long until they become really loud and really dangerous. So take this opportunity now. Nature creates beauty to inspire mankind to return to the greatness of their own divinity. And as I say that, can you look at something that is, by the world's standards, not beautiful and seek to see the beauty in it? Can you see that in that ugly situation that you're in, that person that you despise, or in that part of yourself that is being triggered to see themselves in the other person? Can you seek to see the beauty in that and to see that you are divine in an externalization of that divine beauty? Ask for help. Ask for guidance. Ask for support from the higher realms, from the angelics, from the saints. Whatever is aligned with your heart that makes you feel actively in the presence of God. Lean into that as much as you can. And connect with nature. Use the natural world, the abundance of healing that is provided through the natural world is at your disposal. Go outside, be still, be silent, let yourself be bored. Go and pick flowers. I prefer not to pick flowers. I like to admire them, but sometimes it's nice to pick them. Look at the clovers. Just study the world around you. Close your eyes and listen. What do you hear that maybe you don't normally hear? This is a practice for picking up those messages that are so subtle, that come through the heart, that come from higher influence. But we have to strengthen that connection and practice being in that space so that we're not overwhelmed by the chatter of the mind and the world. Cultivating the inner stillness so that we may be at one with our soul. So if there is some challenge for you right now, this is the time to shift that pattern that you've carried over from the past. Maybe it's a generational wound. Maybe it's time to stop a generational cycle of suffering. And if you truly intend to find yourself within the doubt, the trouble, the discomfort, the disgust, and the fear, you will find what you are looking for. Such deep, deep, potent rays of energy moving through the earth currently. And we're all able to receive it if we just make the time. Thank you so much for receiving this transmission. If you haven't already, please hit that like button if you enjoyed this. Subscribe if you want more. And until we meet again, keep it pure, stay simple. Pura vida.